Okay, so Mars, Scorpio. We're going to touch a little bit on Sagittarius just because Mars is there, but Mars is actually going retrograde, and I want to talk about that as well. I've been talking with a lot of people, experiencing a lot of it in my own world, so let's shed a little bit of light on that. Mars in the sign of Sagittarius gives strong religious and philosophic convictions. People with this position are crusaders for the causes they espouse. Sometimes they arouse resentment by trying to convert others to their own dogmatic beliefs. There's often a strong sense of patriotism. The natives like to think of themselves as staunch defenders of God and country. They are fond of parades, military reviews, and military music. These people are capable of acting out of idealistic motives. According to the level of their intelligence, they will seek to improve the social order in which they live. The Boy Scout leader is an example of this kind of person. There's a strong love of sports and outdoor games. People who enjoy hunting often have Mars in Sagittarius. These people like adventure and the excitement of distant places and travel. They like to be leaders in law, religion, philosophy, and higher education. But they usually follow traditional lines, and they may be aggressively self-righteous in this connection. The desire for adventure in the attainment of far-reaching goals can cause them to scatter their energy and overlook things that need attention in their immediate environment. Now, Mars in Scorpio indicates powerful emotions and desires. This tremendous emotional intensity gives the natives relentless courage and thoroughness in executing their intentions. It can lead to the greatest heights of spiritual achievement or to the lowest depths of moral degradation, depending on the amount of wisdom and type of motivation by which the energy is guided. These people have resourcefulness, courage, and energy, especially in meeting difficult situations. Even the possibility of death does not frighten them if they must face it in order to accomplish their goals. They are capable of an uncompromising fight to the end in defense of their principles. The 300 Spartan soldiers who held off the entire invading Parisian army are an example of Mars and Scorpio principle. The powerful sex drive that goes with Mars and Scorpio, if wrongly motivated, can result in possessiveness and intense jealousy. People with this position tend toward an all-or-nothing attitude that makes compromising with them very difficult. Since it's hard for them to be neutral or indifferent, they either make friends or enemies of those with whom they have sustained dealings. They are secretive and do not reveal their plans or actions without good reason. They need to learn greater detachment and objectivity. Now, a Mars retrograde happens once every 2 years. Aries individuals and those with a Scorpio Mars may feel this transit more prominently. And we can expect to stay in this state for 2 to 2.5 months. Mars rules over physical needs or physical expressions of emotions. As the planet of war, when Mars is in a retrograde period, it can create anger and discord. Often it turns inward and people go through periods of great self-doubt. Passive aggression, inner angst, stress, and anguish are all contributions of the Mars retrograde. This inner angst can be released in unhealthy ways and directed at others, such as creating illnesses, heightened stress, an increase in conflict, and severe road rage. So, not just the keyboard warriors, watch when you're out on the road as well. But people who are fairly balanced individuals, both in emotion and in nature, may not be as affected by this retrograde as others might be. But be assured that no one escapes its effects. Short tempers can be applied to even the most calm and patient people. Let's dial it back and let's talk about the sign of Scorpio for a minute here. Mars is currently in Sagittarius, I think about 8 degrees, but will make its way back to Scorpio during its retrograde motion. Unlike Taurus, who's about personal gain, Scorpio and 8th house people want to acquire the desire body and are actually curious about what to do with it. There is more to be gained by acquiring knowledge that benefits everyone else. Scorpio evaluates the information internally. That's why it's so quiet and mysterious. They're actually all about doing the right thing. They can be leaders or lone strategists. Scorpio desires universal harmony, and as a young person, they see it is not here and it rubs against their identity. They truly do want to see humanity advance. In the story of Hercules, he is tasked with destroying the Lernaean Hydra, a beast who guarded the entrance to the underworld. Now, Hydra had 9 heads, 8 of which were mortal, and 1 in the center that was immortal. Eurystheus, expecting Hercules to be sent to his demise with this task, did not foresee him cultivating self-sufficiency, courage, and intuition, the principles underlying the majority of his previous labors. As Hercules engaged the beast in battle and started severing the heads, he realized that when he cut one off, 2 more were replaced. Hercules came to the realization that he couldn't defeat the monster with sheer brute force. Here's where Hercules summons assistance from, now you'll have to pardon my pronunciation, I don't know if I have this right, but Iolaus? Sure. Who set fire to part of the neighboring forest and using brands from it, burned out the roots of the Hydra's heads to prevent them from regrowing. After severing the head of the immortal part of the beast, Hercules slits the belly and pours the poison over his arrows. He then buries the beast and placed a heavy rock over it. But here's where we come to an interesting part of Hercules' journey. He was not allowed to count this particular task towards his 12 labors. In the end, Hercules actually completes 13. Hercules demonstrates his strength and adherence to justice, although he learns to use intuition and tactics as well. During his fight with Hydra, his strength is evident, but Hera sends a monster crab after Hercules because she felt like he had cheated with asking for help, and he uses the beast's heads to crush the crab. It's his demonstration of intuition and cleverness, more so than strength, although both are needed to complete this task. Hercules demonstrates the inner courage that we all have in this labor. He faces and deals with the most feared beasts in all of literature. He is aware of the fact that Hydra is immortal, and even more aware of the fact that Hydra doubled in ferocity every time he cut off a head. Hydra is just like our emotions. Fighting from a distance only makes the problem go stronger, and only by direct confrontation can we hope to succeed. As we've just learned, Scorpio and the 8th house is about cooperation, although these individuals do not need your input. Period. They will let you know where they are at if they trust you. In the 7th house, we learn where our place is in society. In the 8th house, we get to figure out why we had to learn that. And it's not about logic, although Scorpio is all about knowledge here. It's about shining light on our own darkness. We are forced to figure some things out on our own. And when we get there, we learn, just like the phoenix rising from the ashes, just how powerful and magnificent we truly are. I'm reminded of a friend once telling me that in order to be reborn, we have to die a little inside. I think in order to capture those darker and more mysterious parts of ourselves, we can ask ourselves the following questions. 1. Am I willing to face the shadow parts of myself when necessary to truly integrate myself into the collective and provide healing so that universal harmony can be a reality? 2. Am I willing to burn bridges for things that are no longer safe or healthy for me? This can be people or things that have outgrown us, keeping us at a distance both mentally and physically, and in a perpetual state of avoidance. And 3, am I able to demonstrate intuitive cleverness and trust that I am being insightful enough to move forward? Scorpio is certainly one of the most malaligned signs of the zodiac. If you manage to get close enough to one, know that their trust in sharing with you is actually a huge deal. there aren't really that many in their world that they feel comfortable enough sharing their inner world, whether that be their power or even their own perceived weaknesses. And with each place within us that holds this plutonic power, they come to realize that true transformation and change holds its scars and sometimes even demise so that we can rise once again. Perhaps the tales of sorrows and trials that have led to those scars are some of the most hauntingly beautiful aspects of this existence. Because without them, how else could we appreciate all the good? So if you've enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and or share. If you want to know where in your chart you might have a Scorpio influence, or even if there's anything going on in your 8th house, feel free to send me a message to order your natal chart interpretation. I'm Mandy, your goddess of goodness. Make your week a sensational one.